Good morning. It is Friday morning, what we call in Puerto Rico Viernes Social. It's I don't know, to some it's funny because like Fridays are nice, but it's the beginning of a new weekend, new busy weekend. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have a break at all. Friday just really means not having to wake up early in the morning, formally, to present yourself formally to a place, which is the place that we make our living. Right. So, yeah, it is Friday morning. Happy Friday. And I hope it goes quick. And most people take Friday as their happy hour moment. And, you know, sometimes that's what's good about Fridays. That, okay, well, let's do happy hour. Anyway, so Tony and I, my husband and I, are planning into going to see Cardone. So he has a seminar going on in the beginning of February 1st, I think it is. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I do not know how to pronounce that. That's the one word that I could never pronounce. It's insane. But yes, on February 1st through the 3rd. I've been listening to him, and you know what? I guess he bought me. He got me. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, really, babe? This is who you're listening to? Very tough. He's very rough around the edges. You know, like, I saw a video of him, and he's like tucking his shirt in, like on video. I don't think he knows, or he didn't know that he was being recorded, but I'm like, who wants to watch that? And he was with another guy, his partner, I'm thinking, his right-hand man. And so Tony's like, babe, you gotta listen to him. You know, he's into the real estate and he's great with numbers and whatever. I'm used to Napoleon Hill, Les Brown, Tracy, you know, Michael Neal. I love, he's like really smooth, and like he's like one of my best motivation speaker. James Altucher. You know, I love to listen to motivation books, and you know, they're pretty amazing. And then I listen to Grant Cardone. It's a different animal all over. But you know, I guess I was listening to, sometimes it's different when you listen to their book or read their book, and when you see a video of them, or in a, you know, like James Altucher. I heard his book, and he was amazing. I actually heard it 3 times, and I heard that he had a podcast, and I'm like, you know what? I'm all in that. And I went in, and he has a different personality. He has a different, like, about him. And you know, it's great for like the young crowd. The young crowd meaning like, you know, 20s and over. My son would love him if he heard his book. I'm trying to get my son into listening to audiobooks as well, like motivation books and stuff. But anyway, back to Grant. He has a story. He has a story. And you know, so my husband has the business mind. I have the reading to figure out people, and you know, like I don't know, it's just so I just recently discovered this about my husband and myself. So I'm telling him, I'm like, so what are you gonna get about this convention? And he's like, no, you know, he's great with numbers, he's great with you know, like business aspect of things, and you know, and I'm like, oh, okay. So what do you think about him? You know, like, why do you think he's the way he is? Because sometimes it's just like he loves to flash money. And he's like, well, you know, and I said, well, if we look at it in a business aspect, you know, like he shows you that he has everything that you would love to have. And, you know, it's like, you know, you would like to know how he got there and stuff, and it's nice. But also it looks like he has, you know, his childhood was a little tough for him. You know, he was obviously a little punk, as he describes himself. And people are outrageous. Really? Anyway, so he gets off the right lane to go to the left lane to go back into it just makes no sense. Anyway, so, you know, so, yeah, he went through a stage in his life when he was a child that his dad died, and, you know, now there's his mom, and he has to, you know, see his mom take care of his, you know, his 4 siblings. There's 5 counting him, and you know he didn't really enjoy seeing his mom trying to do, and you know he also saw it as a really, do we really have to go through this and kind of thing. So he promised himself that he was going to be rich, and he brought me to my son. I remember when my son was 10, I had a friend that took him for, you know, my friend, he's a plumber, and this was in New York, and Carlos said, you know, if you want, I could take him with me, and, you know, make a couple of dollars and stuff. And my son's like, Mom, I don't like Carlos, but all right. So he went with him, and, you know, it was nice. He did some landscaping for him, and he gave him $55. Every time I think about this, it makes me like very emotional, because my son has so much potential, and sometimes we don't realize what our kids are thinking or how they see us in our situations. So my son comes to me at 10. I remember I was doing dishes, and my son is now 28. He'll be 29 soon. And he has this little money, you know, all rolled up. And he's like, here, Mom. And I'm like, what's that? Carlos gave him $55. And he's like, it's money. There's $52 in here. You can take it to pay the bills. And I looked at him and I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yes, Mommy, I want you to take it to pay the bills. I don't care what you pay. Pay the light, pay for the mortgage, or, you know, whatever it is that you pay. And it's okay. I don't need it. I was working for that. And here I am, you know, he's 10, and I'm like, yeah. My daughter and I looked at each other. And Chris was like, Mom. Crystal was 12. I have really good kids, really amazing kids. Not because they're my kids, but I have amazing kids. And she looks at me and she starts tearing. And she walks away. And he's like, Mom, I'm serious, take it. And I'm like, Baby, no, it's okay. You know, I'm good. We did what we had to do for this month. I said, save it. I'll take you to the store so you could go get something. It's your first working money. That's nice. I said, I'm very proud of you. So I said, you know, I asked him, did he like it and whatever. He's like, yes, of course, I liked it. And, you know, Carlos was going to pick him up like every weekend to go work for him and stuff. And so he could make a few dollars. And that was nice. I appreciated Carlos for distracting him. Their dad had just walked out and kind of like, you know, whatever. That's a story by itself. But, you know, he got him distracted, and he got him to make a few dollars, and he got him to like show me that he's, you know, he's concerned, and, you know, works more than you cannot imagine. I would love for him to have the opportunity to like be a Grant Cardone. So I'm listening to Grant and I'm like, wow. I wonder if like, you know, like how my kids felt, or how many times they woke up in the morning and said, oh, maybe mom has no money today. Or I remember I used to tell them that, you know, guys, I'm sorry, I don't have a lot. I did everything. I worked 3 jobs and I paid, you know, whatever I needed to do. I didn't want to get my kids out of the district that they were in. I remember, you know, I had a big house, and we bought a big house, and because we wanted our kids to be comfortable and, you know, whatever and the other, and a year into it, things didn't work out, and poof, you know, it was over. Like, I don't even know. So, you know, out of sight, out of mind, you know, no help, no nothing. I did what I had to do to keep my kids within the district, in the house. I stood there for an additional 16 years. I stood in that house. I wanted to make sure that my kids graduated, and I was able to do that. You know, it was a lot of sacrifices and a lot of stuff, but not really sacrifices, because what we do for our children is not really considered sacrifice. It's really our responsibility. And I'm just really grateful that God gave me the strength and the energy and the health to be able to do what I had to do to push my kids ahead. And, you know, my kids went through a lot between, you know, in addition to the divorce, they had an uncle that passed away in the most drastic way. And then after that, their brother passed away. You know, he was killed in a dramatic, oh my gosh, that was like the biggest tragedy. And, you know, they were in high school. And through all this, it was 4 years of like, I don't know, like torture. And my kids graduated. I'm very, very proud of my children, because on top of it all, they graduated and they started college. Unfortunately, they didn't finish, but you know, they did what they had to do to make, you know, to at least finish that chapter. And sometimes we don't, you know, we don't realize that. I don't know if they go back and they're like, damn, you know. So as I'm listening to like Grant's story, I'm like, you know, he was saying that he had to finish. He did just enough to finish and graduate the class and whatever the other, because he was over it. And, you know, my kids probably went through the same thing, and I don't know. It just made me sad, because I started comparing my kids. And I hope my kids are happy. I mean, they look happy. And they're doing really well. My daughter, she's been married to her high school sweetheart for about 11, 12 years. They've been together for like, wow, 14 years. My grandson, she has 2 kids and 1 on the way. 10, 5, and almost 6 months. And my son, he's doing amazing. He just divorced, but he's, you know, he's standing his ground. He's doing good. He has 2 boys. And sadly, he doesn't get to see them as much as he wants to. But, you know, he takes care of them and does the right thing. He spends 95% of his time at work. He's an amazing worker. I really wish that he spent all that energy on working for himself and making himself rich instead of making somebody else rich. Because he has, oh my gosh, it's just hard because he has to take care of his kids. So there's not really too much time left for him to do his own. But it would be nice if he had like that opportunity. He has all the energy in the world. Oh my gosh, he's such a great worker. But I have a goal, and I'm gonna try and push myself to, you know, to work on that goal and just snatch him. And I sent them a message yesterday, my son and my daughter. I'm like, guys, come on, let's make our family rich. And my son is like, Mom, I know, but it's just so hard to start. And I was like, you know what? We could do it. Let's just give it a little bit. Let's give it a push. Let's get started. Let's try and work on something. Let's come up with an idea. And let's see. I don't know. I feel very positive and energetic. And let's see what I know Grant Cardone is a great motivator, obviously, from where I hear about his 10X book, which is great. The only thing is that I listen to it while I drive, and I like to take notes when I listen to someone. But let's see where how motivated he gets. I'm not gonna say how motivated he gets Tony, because Tony, I don't know. Tony does need a little help though. He doesn't believe in himself, and he always comes up with, oh, but we don't have the money. You know, but he has a great spirit. I know he's, you know, if he had a little help, he could make it happen. Let's see. All right, guys. Enough of that. I will talk to y'all later. Take the West. Enjoy your Friday. Woohoo! Traffic is moving along okay.